Today, the trailer for The Darkest Shore came out, and one of the fun things about when a trailer drops is that we get to compare how this trailer lives up to our theories, expectations, and speculation. We do this all the time as a community. We're always wondering, where will the story go next? What's going to be the location of the next zombies map? Where are we going from here? It's a fun thing, and when we get a new trailer, we'll see, how did this trailer live up to our expectations and our theories? And this is what I'm doing with this new The Darkest Shore trailer. And unfortunately, it looks like I'm going to need to hit the drawing board and rethink my DLC 1 theory, as well as my overarching World War II zombies theory, which is unfortunate, but it's not the first time this has happened. Some of you who've been watching my channel for at least 2 years now might remember back when DE came out, I was convinced that DE was actually going to take place in an ice cave, and this ice cave would be a gateway to hell. And based on a lot of the information that we had at the time, it seemed like a really good theory. Of course, now we know DE doesn't involve an ice cave at all. Instead, we have the Hohenwerfen Castle, and it's still one of the best zombies maps we've ever had. Oftentimes, people will say, look, John was wrong about this theory as we got new information, and they try to use this to prove that I am flawed in all of my information, but really what it comes down to is just me making a bad theory based on a limited amount of information. And then as we get new information, I reevaluate my theories and I go, okay, yeah, I made a mistake there, but now we can clearly see it's this rather than that. And it's not about being wrong, it's about just adjusting to what you have at the time in the information. And I had a lot of really good theories for DLC 1, and it's starting to look like it might actually be falling apart. One of the theories I had was us following Rolf Krak, the Great Danish King, in this map, and this would fall in line with my Great Kings theory. I also thought we might be exploring Forseti, the Norse god, the lawmaker in Norse mythology, and who supposedly belongs to this island. The island of Heligoland is supposedly named after this god. There was also a really good Atlantis theory, which I actually still want to discuss, so that might not be the end of that, but it's looking like this map might have less to do with Atlantis than I was originally hoping. All these really good theories, and then there's one line in this trailer that changes it all and changes the direction of my thinking.
This island is a place rich with the history of dead gods. It's theirs now. Their tomb.
Dr. Straub says that this island is rich with the history of dead gods. Notice he says gods, plural, so not singular. This begs the question, which gods is he talking about? When he says this, we see on screen this figure. It's hard to say who this figure is. It's almost ghost-like. It's wearing what looks like a sheet over itself. It has blood running through the eye holes. It's holding a bowl in hand, or the skull of a bull in hand. It's almost reminiscent of the Buried logo, oddly enough. And because it's on screen when he talks about dead gods, I can only assume that it's relevant to the story and lore behind this island. And it's a little bit of a head scratcher. If we wanted to talk about gods, we could potentially talk about the god, Forseti, which, as I mentioned, was a Norse lawmaker, and Heligoland, according to some legends, was named after Forseti because it was an island that she led 12 lawmakers to, and when they were saved and brought to that island, they decided it was going to be a holy land, and it would be a land dedicated to their god, Forseti. So maybe this is Heligoland, and one of the gods will be Forseti, and potentially there will be more gods, maybe Norse gods, but what does he mean by dead gods? Is suddenly Forseti a dead god? Are we even on Heligoland? And that this is even, here's the thing with the story right now. We were originally in Middelburg, which isn't a real town. You'll notice at the beginning of the trailer, he actually says Bavaria. He doesn't say Middelburg, and I think this is supposed to get the idea that you're just in a random town in Bavaria. Maybe they don't actually want to use Heligoland. Maybe they were inspired by Heligoland, but are using a different island in the North Sea. Something like that. It's hard to say, and it's almost quite strange. They haven't mentioned the island by name, so we might actually be wrong about Heligoland, and if it's not Heligoland, then we need to throw out all of our theories. And Part of why I'm worried it's not Heligoland is the mention of multiple gods, not one god, because there's really only one god attributed to Heligoland, and that is Forseti. And this is why it makes me almost want to throw out my DLC 1 theories. Another reason I'm a little worried is because this may just make me throw out my entire overarching storyline theory. If you've watched my channel before, you'll know that I've discussed this idea that maybe we're following great kings in this storyline. The first map was dedicated to Frederick Barbarossa. I then suggested that this map, Heligoland, or the Darkest Shore, could be dedicated to the great Danish king Rolf Krak. Then we may go to the great Egyptian pharaoh, King Ramses II, and we would be following these great kings and finding artifacts of theirs which happen to have supernatural powers. This was my overarching story. Well, there is no mention of a great king in this map, so maybe this kind of throws out the great king theory altogether, and we need to rethink why we're going from location to location in World War II Zombies. Now, of course, this is all just speculation. These are all just theories. We're really going to have to wait to get our hands on the map before we can lay down a definitive story. So everything I've mentioned in previous videos as well as this video is just a bunch of speculation. One thing that I believe is definitely worth talking about is this trailer in comparison to the original World War II Zombies trailer. They're eerily similar. They both feature very cinematic shots of the map, zombies taking over, some of Straub's creations, and it includes a voiceover from Dr. Straub. And there also isn't really much talk of the story. In the original World War II reveal trailer, it's just Dr. Straub talking about his evil creations and him creating the devil himself. This one is also very similar, where he's talking about this is where he hid all of his creations, but he also does mention that this island holds a lot of history of dead gods, so this also does have a little bit of a reference to the story. But you'll remember in the original trailer, there's a moment where it kind of shows us the statue of Barbarossa, and this is kind of the hub for the Easter egg. Well, in this trailer, we're shown this statue of what we assume to be one of the dead gods, potentially Forseti. And this, I would assume, is also the hub for the Easter egg. But because the original trailer didn't feature much story, maybe because this new trailer doesn't give us the story that we were expecting, that there's more to come and there's more to be discovered, and we might not need to throw out as much as we might have originally thought. It could go, honestly, either way. We might need to rethink everything, or we might need to just rethink some things, and hopefully, I'd rather it be some things more than everything. We're gonna have to wait and see, though. If you enjoyed this video or found it interesting, maybe like and subscribe for more. If you want, definitely stay tuned for more World War II Zombies information and storyline information. I'm probably right now doing some of the most in-depth research into this storyline in comparison to most YouTubers in the game, so this is probably one of your best sources for World War II Zombies storyline. I'm gonna go, though. Have a wonderful day, and bye.